I'm going to sleep after this. Good morning. We're awake. That's the first thing you hear in the live stream.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is still the Kiltz show, 5
He's
a.m. in the
having
morning.
4 a.m. Central. Um, we're here
What?
covering for Kiltz, who's celebrating his birthday this week.
Today is his birthday of almost 70. Now he'll be right every time he says almost 70.
He's in his 70th year. He's in his 70th year.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're 1 year old, it's because you lived already the 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't say that I'm in my 42nd year. I'm not going to say that until I get there.
That that only counts for little kids. Well,
Oh,
little
little.
kids don't do that. Little kids do 4.5,
Yeah,
4 and 3
exactly.
quarters. And then when you're getting up there, you start, putting more mileage.
That's really funny. Okay, so today we're doing for Kiltz's birthday. It's hashtag Kiltz. Thank you so much for being here. Put hashtag Kiltz in the chat wherever you're watching from. I'm sorry we're not watching on the Mighty Tribe or Instagram. Dr. Kiltz sets that up on on his own side. He sets that up. It's different than where we stream from. So I'm going to make a note for the Mighty Tribe people to hop over to YouTube. So what are we talking about today, Dr. Nelson? The Austin meetup? We did that on Monday.
Uh, did we? We can talk a little bit. Like, this morning, someone in the humanity live
Yeah.
community made a comment. He and his wife were very happy to have met us there. Everybody,
Aww.
he was very happy to belong. And community is very important because we do know, especially when you're still tentative, that not everybody around you is doing what you're doing, right?
Right.
And and it's okay. Everybody's different. Unfortunately, not even in my household, everybody. But my wife is, I call her quasi carnivore, and that's Alia's favorite Puerto Rican, by the way.
Yes, it is.
And my oldest son is keto. He really avoids the very carby stuff most of the time. He's pretty good about it. Uh,
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Luckily, my husband never liked vegetables, and never liked junk food. So doing carnivore is really easy in my house. We do have a question. What is the difference between regular salts and Himalayan salts, and are they the same or different? And how are they beneficial to your for health?
so the primary difference for me, what we call regular salt in the United States, the most common salt sold in the supermarket, is the little girl with the umbrella, which is
Yes.
Morton salt. That's the most common. And even when you make, when you have a store brand, usually has the same ingredients. That salt has dextrose in it. If you didn't know that, look at the ingredients. The regular table salt, the iodinized salts, all of them apparently put dextrose in it. I still haven't found out why exactly. And so almost any other salt might be okay. There are some brands out there very commonly known among carnivore people and ketos. They sponsored, and many of the YouTube personalities have links to the different ones. And I've used some of them. Uh, the Baja Gold, Redmond's. Lately, I bought one called, it's a Colima salt and Malden salt.
Malden is great.
Uh, they're all very good. Sometimes one company might point out to the research because maybe another one, may have been found to have some heavy metals more frequently than others. Uh, Sometimes I buy regular sea salt from the big box stores. Um, but my main reason for not using the regular table salt is the dextrose in the salt.
Hmm.
What do
That
you?
makes. We do pink salt, pink Himalayan salt. That's what I got. We don't have Malden salt. Maybe I can order it from probably Amazon, but I'm not gonna order salt from Amazon since it's to Colombia. So I use pink salt. We've got another question. Uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna say Miss King because I don't want to mess up her first name. Toupee, maybe. Okay, what do you think of fat fasting and the use of extra virgin olive oil to strengthen cell walls and reducing inflammation?
So first of all, I don't know if she's Japanese. So the Japanese, I'm not an expert. I don't speak Japanese, but if you read it like you would read Spanish, usually the names you're pretty close to the pronunciation. Uh,
Tupai.
Dubai.
Okay, there you go. All right, so
Uh,
what about the olive oil and fat fasting?
it's okay. Olive oil is much less bad than the seed oils.
Right.
It's still a manufacturer oil. Like, whenever people ask me, I said, yeah, go ahead. I do have olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil on my stove. Olive oil, mostly my wife and son use it. Uh, it is definitely a lot less bad. Unfortunately, you never know if you're getting really just olive oil or if it's been cut with soybean oil or canola oil,
Right.
which when they have done studies, it happens, and there's yeah, single source is always better than if they tell you it comes from different sources.
Okay.
Some companies may buy from different countries, and it should be labeled as such. I don't know that everybody follows all regulations strictly, but at the very least, olive oil is mentioned in the Bible, so we know that it's been around for thousands of years, right?
Right.
Uh,
That's a very good point.
so you don't need an industrial complex to produce
Hmm.
olive oil.
Very good point. I would love to try the olive oil from thousands of years ago. All right, this is a question. I don't usually pull up these questions, but this was funny. Is Paul Saladino blasphemous to the carnivore community? I don't think so. I don't think he's blasphemous of the carnivore community.
Yeah, he's made comments on at least one video. He addressed many of the controversies surrounding his diet and his change. You can look it up in his channel. Uh, I don't know exactly the reason. He probably has between 200 and 400 grams of carbohydrates a day, mostly from fruits. At least he's from whole foods, number one.
Right.
He's not buying, candy bars. Uh, and the guy exercises basically 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're metabolically healthy, you can probably get away with
Some
following a
carbohydrates.
diet like that. He's mentioned that his testosterone was tanking. Well, he in at least one occasion he mentioned my testosterone was below 500. Well, 500 is normal. So I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
And but the question was, is he blasphemous? I've never heard him say anything bad actually about carnivore and it's helped people, and he still promotes it. Like,
Yeah, no, but I
you know,
think it means is he blasphemous like
oh, in the
his way
carnivore
of eating is
community.
blasphemous to the carnivore community.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably. Okay, Brandon, you can ask as many questions as you want, by the way. So, Brandon, it's one more question. Why does eating meat make me feel so calm and not stressed? What's the science behind it? It's a great question.
Well, contrary to what the critics say, I don't think red meat in particular is inflammatory. There are certain meats that could be if you happen to have sensitivities to it. Sensitivities to red meat are very rare. Uh, ex, the biggest exception is if you have been bitten by uh,
The alpha gal tick.
the Lone Star
I'm sorry,
tick,
tick.
which
Yeah,
it's commonly called alpha gal. I
yeah.
don't know if you know why it's called alpha gal. Do you know, Alia?
No idea.
All right, because what you develop actually is a sensitivity to an antigen on what the
Mm,
tick gave you, and is a sensitivity to alpha galactose. So
mm.
it's actually a sensitivity to a sugar
That's in the meat.
that 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 is in the meat.
Oh
And
wow, that's terrible. No ticks in
I hope
Colombia.
I hope we don't get the Lone Star tick near my house in Florida because it'll be terrible. And it seems that you lose the sensitivity. Unfortunately, it could take months or years.
That's
Um,
so crazy. But you could technically still do carnivore in that case. You just can't eat the red meat.
yes,
But you could
so
still
you're gonna
eat.
have to
It's
work
harder.
around it. You have to check and make goat meat and lamb meat is still red meat, so you may have
Issues.
sensitivity to it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So you gotta try around.
Can I take a stab at the science behind it? Now, let me take a stab at the science behind it. So, foods that are inflammatory, I wonder if it's not just the red meat. If you're doing strict carnivore, you're taking things out of your system. You're not just putting good things in your system, you're removing bad things from your system that cause inflammation in your body and in your brain. So if you remove the things that cause the inflammation, you're going to feel calm because you're not stressing your body out. It doesn't sound very scientific, but you know, there you go. That is the science behind it. Remove the crap. If I'm doing heroin, I'm going to be stressed. You know,
Yes.
if I'm doing drugs,
Good
I'm
morning, Ross. By the way, I see my buddy Humsis Sosa is
yay.
here,
What's up? What's up, Russ?
and
We
of
love
course
you.
we do have Papa Carnivore always here.
He's always
Good
here.
morning.
And Teddy
So
is here. Hi, Teddy. If I didn't say hi
right,
to everybody, hello, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
yeah. Um,
It is the
so
insomnia.
there are some meats that like some people may have a little bit of sensitivity to chicken or eggs or fish, which
Right.
are things that are definitely carnivore.
Yeah.
So you could have, but the the red meat probably is the least inflammatory. And
Right.
like you said, you're not buying things out of a box, a bag, or a can with a
Right.
list of ingredients. Most of them you can even read. I I'm pretty good at reading all these chemical names, and I am still might have a problem reading some of them. It should
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever packaging it should say beef, and that's it, or chicken.
Yeah.
Uh, so, and I'm gonna bring my inner Dr. Kiltz. It's plants.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I'm saying remember to put hashtag kilts into the chat and hit the like button. Thank you, Haley. Hit the like button. All right.
And
Who
if
else? Oh, there's my typo.
I was
Children.
finished, gonna introduce a little commercial here. Remember, if
Oh,
you're not a member of the Kills Mighty Tribe community, go to
oh yeah,
drkills.com
yeah,
and sign
exactly.
up. It's free. All right,
There we go.
go ahead.
Thank you for that commercial. It's so important. Kills My Tribe is great. You have a like-minded community. You can ask questions there. We do Zoom. More stuff is coming in the future. Here's a founding member of the Kiltz Mighty Tribe, Lewis. Another founding member, Amy. I was going to say Amy Briskets.
Amy. And in that community, there's a lot of good information, by the way. It's going to be changing, but a lot of that information is still gonna be there in the whenever Alia finishes with
What am I doing?
the
Oh yeah,
new.
the new website, the new yeah, I'm working on that. It's in the works. I'm gonna say Dr. Kiltz always says do like set a date. So I'm gonna say June 1st. Okay. Love your answer. Brandon says, love your answer. And yes, I feel much better and not so stressed as I used to be, but I can eat red meat and easily and not sensitive to it. I used to be ergo easily aggro. Oh, aggro. Okay. Easily back then having mild autism has helped. Okay. Great. I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah. Remember, many of these studies that may found a little bit associated risk because of inflammation and red meat, or having you heard that causes diabetes, causes all kinds of bad things.
It's not true.
Is all these epidemiological studies with a lot of confounders. Every time you checked, first of all, I don't remember exactly all I ate last week. I most likely ate some red meat every day, but I don't even remember. I do remember what I ate over the weekend while we were in Austin because I only ate brisket several times and ribeyes on Saturday night. That was it.
Oh, that was amazing. That
Yeah.
was amazing. Richard Hepburn, 6 months lying, ate chicken full of nasty additives, awake 2 a.m., severe diarrhea, nausea, both arms and hands buzzing, feeling very ill. Uh, After toilet starting to feel better. Any ideas?
Something very similar has happened to me several months ago. I haven't done it again. I bought a rotisserie chicken that was already made in one of the box stores because I was running late. The family was going to eat. So I had, I don't remember if I was traveling, by the way, but I bought one of those rotisserie chicken. They do have um, all kinds of different spices. They're not gonna make it for the keto or carnivore people specifically, but and I may have had at least one aceto oil. I got sick. Didn't end up throwing up, but I it didn't sit well for me.
It didn't sit well. You could have also just gotten food poisoning. Sounds like food poisoning. I'm so sorry. That happens. Um, let's see.
But
Russ, I know I'm not gonna read it. um, Amy, Alia, I'm hoping you can put the Dr. Boz video on the Mighty Tribe for those who missed it. Yeah. So give me a couple days and I'll get that up. I have to catch up on everything and I'll make sure to get that up. We now have access to all of the past Zoom calls, so we're gonna start getting those
yeah,
in the Mighty Tribe.
she was very gracious to spend time with us.
And she's gonna do a live stream with us again on YouTube.
By the
Hopefully in
way,
April.
I
Yeah.
she wanted to. I think she wanted to be Dr. Baker because I told her we had. I don't know. We had over 60 people at least with
Yeah.
Baker. She came close. I don't think she did more than we. I did look at the number. At one point, we had over 50 people, but
Oh, nice.
she didn't make it to 60. I.
Aw. Well,
Uh,
when we do a live stream with her, we'll get like at least 1,000. We're gonna do a live stream on YouTube. I gotta organize that most likely next month. Um, is there any processed food that is not unhealthy? Ooh, I want to answer this one. Can I answer this one?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hot dogs. You just gotta make sure they're not full of crapola. Bacon is processed. All food is processed one way or another by the time it gets onto your plate. So
Yeah.
it's ultra processed food that
Yeah.
you cannot make in your kitchen that's unhealthy. If you if you can make it in your kitchen, you're all good. If it's in a bag, it's bad. If like a not okay,
Well,
maybe
I can make cake in my kitchen if I wanted to.
but
So
it's ultra processed because you have already the super extremely processed flour, the super extremely processed
yeah.
everything. So like one ingredient, but there's some processing. So like ground beef, there's processing.
So you can look up the classification. There is some
Mm.
people that have classified how processed a food is, and they have categories. And of course, the more processed, the better. When you buy, if you were to eat frozen vegetables, and for those that still want to eat a little bit of, be closer to keto, keto is good. What's best? Carnivore. So, but if you, let's say you buy some frozen broccoli, well, that's minimally processed. They cut it, they froze it, they put it in the bag. Uh, the donuts, I would, the morning cereals,
Yeah,
all,
totally.
so if it comes in a bag, in a box, a bag, or a can, it's probably processed. There some exceptions. Well, if you're eating very low carbs and you still want to have you know, canned green beans and the ingredients only have green beans and salt or something like that, that is less bad
Yeah.
than having one of my favorites before, apple fritters.
Oh my God, me too. But they would make my stomach hurt. Okay, every
Oh
time.
no, they didn't make my stomach hurt. They just skyrocketed my blood sugars and skyrocketed my weight.
Yeah, sure, sure. Working on me. If the ingredients that were used to process the food were processed before they were used, I'd say it's pretty processed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I would say it's not the same having maybe some spices, which you could be sensitive, so you have to be careful, as opposed to having preservatives and
Right.
stuff there that is not even food. At least you can make an argument about the spices here. There are from foods that a lot of people eat, but if they put, I have a bread home, it's almost full, the bag. I showed it the other day, and uh, that bread still doesn't have any mold in it after 2.5 months on a
I.
basket.
It's so gross. Uh, Here we go. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, don't eat it. These are all very good tips, actually.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that depends what language you're talking about, but because I might have trouble sometimes saying even chicken in English, but
Here we go. Richard's got another question. Uh, Richard, are we more sensitive to SAD once our gut bacteria has healed and must be more careful as a result? I wonder if our gut bacteria ever heals 100%. And if we talk to Dr. Kiltz, we don't need gut bacteria.
so this is the thing. Yeah, uh, we have all around, inside, outside, and inside. If you're uh, strictly speaking, inside the mouth and all the way to the outside, it's actually the outside of the body. All our digestive tract is inside. The intestines is outside the body.
Yeah.
But we have bacteria everywhere. We live with it. We have billions of bacteria, viruses, all kind. I call them, all of them, parasites, because they live
Yeah.
with us, and as long as it doesn't make you sick, it's some sort of bacteria. When you eat carnivore, when you eat any way you choose to eat, whether it's good or bad, it changes your intestinal flora. Okay, so you have to take the studies that talk about good and bad bacteria with a grain of salt, because even if you took one of those beneficial bacteria, uh, you wouldn't put it on a wound, an open wound, or inside your blood, because it would still make you sick. So, yeah. But it doesn't matter the way you eat. The way you eat, if you are consistent, within a few days, it's going to change your intestinal flora.
Right.
So now, is that you or is that Dr. Kiltz?
That's me. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah. Today, if anything pops up under Dr. Kiltz, that's me because I can only if I pin a comment, I need to be on his channel. Sorry, don't want to confuse everybody. And the
Oh,
reason I brought that up was to do a
I
plug.
is he traveling? Because I wouldn't doubt it. He can stay away.
Where he is, it's right now. I think 2 hours earlier, but he could stay awake.
Okay.
I think it might be. I don't know if he's on Central or Mountain Time at the moment. Oh wow, I want to read this from Brandon. Before I was on carnivore or keto, I used to get bad panic attacks in the middle of the night, and then went eating mostly meat. And this has been a game changer. I love that. I'm so happy for you. I love that for you.
And this happened again over the weekend in Austin, and you can feel it sometimes on lives. The carnivore community is so zen, right?
Yeah.
We had a lot of people, hugs and hellos, and talking like if we were, we just met and talking like if we were old friends.
Exactly, exactly. So speaking of a meetup, time for the next commercial break. Healing Humanity meetup in Tennessee. Adam's speaking. Dante Frigno speaking. Carrie speaking. Ken Berry is going to be there. You absolutely need to be there. Dr. Kiltz, of course, Dr. Nelson, and Coach Lisa. So I highly recommend. This is going to be an amazing meetup. We're in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, but I think it's going to be totally beautiful. They found a great venue. You can. I put the link there. There we go. These meetups are amazing. Like Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson was just saying, everyone's super zen, and you're like just hanging out with your best friends.
And this meetup was the longest, I believe, that Healing Humanity, and even I don't know if you've been in anything longer than this, but the longest we've done. Uh, Although in Tampa we had sort of 2 days of it, but it was fairly long. It started before noon, and they had to kick us out at 6. But there were still people there uh, that didn't, they still wanted to be there and friendly, and like I said, it was great.
Yeah, it was amazing. Sorry, sometimes I'm just making sure we get all of our questions in the chat. Um, let's see. Jonathan is present. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that because Jonathan's watching on my channel, so I appreciate that. um, Here, David, does adding an onion to roast beef cause harm? What's your take?
If you don't have any sensitivities to it, then I see it as another of the spices. Got to be careful with the amounts because onions are a little bit higher on carbs than, let's say, garlic or or even peppers. Um, they're not too bad. The longer you, if you're gonna do any vegetables, cook them. Don't eat
Yeah,
them raw. Uh, but it's a plant. If you're sensitive to it, then probably you shouldn't use it. I have discovered over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, sensitivities to different things. Uh, the peppers, in particular, I used to use a lot of hot sauce and make hot sauce. Uh, don't really tolerate it. And if I have too much of any of those, too much could be just a small amount. Even the garlic, which I used to love.
well, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Okay, question. So we're going with Tupai. Tupai. Okay, King. Miss King. Okay, question. What kind of ethical business can we build around carnivore? Thinking of starting one.
By the way, I apologize if if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly as well.
Yeah.
Uh, it's difficult. I mean, someone over the weekend uh, made a version of his own carnivore bar, And it was great. And it was exactly the same as the carnivore bars because I've tasted them. Uh, and it was the way, at least the American Indians or Native Americans uh, used to preserve meat. It, but uh,
So like an ethical business could be making meat, could be selling meat products like
yeah, now
jerky, or
you have to
regenerative
remember you're
farming.
still processing some. Even a carnivore bar is somewhat processed. You have to dry the meat, pulverize the meat, mix it with tallow, and Native Americans, when in season, they put berries and things like that in it. Uh, we can add a little bit salt to that, but uh, ethical businesses, I don't know. There's a few things. Usually, it's making something with carnivore ingredients, but it's probably very difficult. Except you can raise cattle, and someone mentioned about something else, Doctor. Oh, you were mentioning we were going to be with Doctor Barry. He I know he has lamb. I think may have goats as well. So you can raise beef,
Right.
lamb, cattle, any type of cattle and chickens.
Yep.
The
Hmm.
margins are, not that great on in that industry, but well organized, you can make
Sure.
some money.
Or you could become a butcher. There you go. Is
There you
the
go.
butcher better than organic packaged meat? That's an interesting question.
Get to know your local butcher and like get to know how they raise their their cows and their chickens and you can go ask you the smaller ranchers. Most of them will probably try to avoid antibiotics or not. You have to go and find out
Yeah.
how what your local rancher is doing.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What other questions do we have? What other questions? I'm going to ask an inflammatory question. Should children eat fruit?
uh, I'm gonna Ross is saying vegan intervention sounds like a great business to me.
We love you.
All right, should children eat fruits?
Fruit. Yeah.
Listen, if you raised kids, and I got three grown kids,
Yeah.
uh, they're, there are times they're going to be looking for something. First of all, learn to say a little bit of no when it's in between meals.
Okay.
But fruits would be definitely much less bad than potato chips and Snickers, right? And if you're metabolically healthy, if you're raising a child is meat based, probably you're making sure that they're not having the bad stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to avoid that when you drive by McDonald's, they start telling, "Oh, we want McDonald's."
I don't have any McDonald's anywhere near me.
Yeah, but we have one
You
around
do.
every corner here. So,
Yeah.
uh, so you'll have to make yourself some stuff at home. It's probably
Right.
easier to make chicken nuggets, but you're only using
Like,
carnivore or
um,
very fresh ingredients. And
yeah, exactly.
uh, so again, similar to the question about Paul Saladino's diet, some
Yeah.
people, if they're metabolically healthy, they're able to tolerate
Yeah.
a certain amount of carbohydrate, especially if they're from whole foods, clean foods, organic. You want to
Right.
try. I don't even want to look at the glyphosate stuff because it
Mm,
makes me depressed that probably everything that you can buy in the supermarket is
that's
going to have
glyphosate.
some glyphosate, probably contributed to my little mishap a year and a half ago with bladder cancer.
Crazy, crazy. Yeah, so you got to. That's the point. Like we eat the meat, and it doesn't have, especially red meat. It doesn't have all that stuff, or it's been filtered out through the four chambers of the stomach, or whatever. Or the cows happen to be eating better food. But yeah, okay. That's my inflammatory question for the morning. Should children eat fruit? Okay.
Buenos dias, Luis Villalobos.
Buenos dias. He's near me, and I hope to hang out with him soon. We'll have to figure it out. We live like he lives very close to me, like 40 minutes. Okay, who's going to the Yuma meetup? Yuma, we have to say Yuma, Tennessee. Do not go to Arizona. You will be
Yeah.
very angry. I am. Dr. Nelson is. I would love to know in the chat who else is going to Yuma. I think that's going to sell out really quickly, that one. And there are like, let's see, probably like 100 tickets left to sell. Let's see. Oh, they're saying there are, let's see, 100, yeah, 150 plus tickets left to sell. So make sure you get those tickets. Um,
It Working on me made a comment. Any
yeah,
food that cause you harm that you have already determined, well, don't do it. Of course. Uh,
I would. Brenda wants to know the closest airport. It might be Jackson. I believe that's the closest airport. Jackson, Tennessee is 40 minutes away. If you fly into Nashville, it's an hour and a half away. Um, I need to tell Lewis something because maybe he doesn't understand. So, Colombia doesn't change time zones, but the United States does. So, we're actually not early. We're still at apparently the same time, but you and me get to wake up an hour earlier to be here. It's the same. It's still 5 a.m. Eastern, but now 4 a.m. where we are. There we go.
yeah, going into the after spring, you spring forward.
Yeah.
We change time, but because you haven't changed time in Puerto Rico, they don't change time. Now there's an hour difference.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I'm gonna.
standard
I'm gonna.
time would have been what we just went through winter time. Winter,
Yeah. There we
that's
go.
same time.
So, but for us, no. My new A start time 4 a.m. Woohoo! Amy is going to Yuma and hopefully share her story. Great, 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 great. Uh, thank you, Haley. Yes, 4 a.m. club. Hyper Bitcoinization is happy to be here with us today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate everyone being here and hanging out.
Yeah,
So,
I have to admit I haven't really learned about Bitcoin much ever.
oh yeah, me neither. Me
But
neither.
hello, Amy. Hello, Thomas is here. Uh, what other names we haven't mentioned here? Brenda
Lee's
Weldon.
here. Brenda's here. Uh, let's see if I can do this one. Dave Mahara is here. Number two.
Dave Mojarra.
I,
Now, I don't know if that's Spanish, but
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Dawn is here. Oh wow, Deanna's the 3 a.m. club. Oh wow, 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 wow. Thanks for being here. That's so early.
thank you,
Uh,
Diana.
Broken Carnivores here. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. There we go. Let's see. Well, I can still ask Dr. Nelson some questions. Let me ask Dr. Nelson some questions while we're waiting for some more questions from the chat. What? Okay, you are on a completely terrible standard American diet. You're eating McDonald's 3 times a day. How would you easily transition over to an all meat diet with the least amount of symptoms? Let's say flu symptoms, keto flu.
If you found out, if you were in a bubble and you found out about keto now and you want to transition, and it's heavily the standard atrocious diet. That's what SAD stands for, by the way. Standard atrocious diet.
Yeah.
because it's no longer only the American diet. I mean, all over the world, wherever there has been, you can blame the West, the Westernization. A lot of people are eating this way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful if you want to. Some people want to jump on this suddenly. Some people don't get into trouble. Most people are going to develop some symptoms probably because you're changing your diet. Whenever you make changes in your diet, your gut reacts a little bit. You can develop diarrhea in particular, cramps and things like that. So it's not only the going into carnivore or going into keto. Any changes you make might have some upsetting symptoms. But I would start eliminating the biggest, baddest stuff. Things like probably the bread, the pastas, the roots, different tubers, like the big one is potato, right?
Right.
And I used to eat a lot of uh, other roots, which I am trying to learn the names in English, but malanga, yautía, ñame, yuca, green plantains and green bananas that we have in Puerto Rico, and it was part of my diet growing up,
Sure.
and unfortunately, that's mostly starch. There's very little nutritional value. There is some minerals, and just because something has some minerals, proteins, and plant oils doesn't mean it is the greatest thing, right?
Right.
And the nutritional value compared ounce per ounce with a piece of red meat probably has no comparison. But eliminating those because they are heavily starched, and if you're not metabolically sick, the ultimate expression of metabolic dysfunction is diabetes. The, that's the top
Yeah.
of the line, right? By that time, you are so carbohydrate intolerant that you really need to restrict. But if you're going to come to at least 20 grams uh, of carbohydrates a day, which is really where most people are going to be on a ketogenic diet,
Yeah.
hitting, because if you're 30 or 50, you're probably not going to be in ketosis. But that's a big shock to your system if you're coming from the standard
Standard.
structures diet, right? So start with the extreme things that I think most people know when they're putting a piece of donut in their mouth that that's probably not the best food for them,
Right.
right? And we make excuses. I know I did, but it's not good for you. So start there, the big things and the white stuff if you want to make it easy in general, and excuse me,
It's
and things like the grains and the legumes would be within that group or next. Do they have some proteins? Yeah, a lot of people. Oh, I eat lentils because it has proteins, and yeah, it does. About 20% uh, of it might be protein, but the rest is starch. And if you know what starch is a bunch of molecules of glucose stacked together. And you never, never, never absorb from your intestinal tract starch. You have to break it down into glucose and then you absorb the glucose. So I've never understood this recommendation. Oh, eat complex carbohydrates because there's a little bit of fiber in there. You're you're eating something that's going to be broken down into just plain old glucose and then going to your bloodstream. So I would start with the bigger carbohydrate foods. If you're eating still some plants, then continue with the lower carbohydrate, non-starchy vegetables, And if you want the simplest ketogenic plate, have your plate your choice of meat or fish, and the other half you can have the non-starchy vegetables, and that's it. That's the simplest ketogenic plate should look like that.
Yeah, exactly. I like what Lloyd says here. I transitioned to carnivore cold turkey. If you're really addicted to sugar, I believe keto won't work. Too easy to go back into the carbs. Yeah. I think the carb ditch, not ditch the carbs, into the carb ditch. I think so.
Yeah, and of course you need to avoid the sugary drinks. I'm okay if you want to transition into drinking a zero sugar substitute of any kind. It's still not the greatest. It's a lot less bad though than a Coke that has 8 to 10 teaspoons of sugar.
Sure. Or like I tried this Topo Chico lime when I was just there. I had one and it tastes like a Sprite without the sugar. Maybe you don't want whatever natural flavors, but at least you can go from the Sprite 7 Up to a Topo Chico without the sugar and then just regular sparkling water. So there you
And if you, I do avoid getting the plastic bottles, but I put gas last night in my
go.
car. I bought some Topo Chico in a plastic bottle, but usually you can also find them on a glass bottle.
Right. That's true.
Uh,
John wants to know what form of magnesium do you take? She might have been asking that of somebody in the chat. I'm not sure. What about magnesium? There's like a kind that's good and a kind that's less effective. Do you know the difference?
I'm gonna I'm gonna be back in just a second because I have it right in front of me. Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna go get it. Okay, bye, bye, bye. Let's see. There's another question here. Anne says we'll get back to the magnesium question when Dr. Nelson gets back. Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's. What is your?
So I I mean I have a link for this and I never put it. Today I put where I buy my mail order meats.
Yeah.
Uh, if you go to the description on, you have to go to my YouTube, subscribe at the real Dr. Nelson.com. I mean at the real Dr. Nelson. So magnesium.
We
Let's
can't
see.
read it. We can't read it.
There we go.
Glycinate. Oh,
Sideways.
magnesium glycinate. Okay.
So I use my magnesium glycinate. It's probably the better absorb. There's about, I don't know, 5, 7 forms of magnesium. Uh, this is kind of funny because I don't want to make a long story, but my wife was having some cardiac trouble. What we thought it was cardiac trouble ended up being some vitamins that she has started to take. Uh, anyways, that was giving her the symptoms that seemed to have been cardiac, but it wasn't. And it was natural vitamins. So there are differences in the magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is my favorite. But I spoke to a friend of mine who was a cardiologist, and he said, "Oh, Nelson, give her magnesium oxide." I said, "Oh, well, she already is taking glycinate." No, no, but give her magnesium oxide. And unfortunately, he probably hasn't looked into how well absorbed each magnesium is. Magnesium oxide is probably the worst
Oh
of
wow.
them all in terms of absorption. So you're losing, you know, basically your money. You do get some absorption. Don't get me wrong. That's better than nothing. It's like, when people say, "Well, can I eat processed meat?" Well, that's that all you can afford. But magnesium glycinate, and this bottle, it has 240 milligrams per capsule. No, 120 actually. So I take two in the morning, two in the evening. I just put it in my pill box, which nowadays doesn't really have any prescription. I've been able to get off a bunch of prescription over medications over the past 2 years. So I end up taking almost 500 a day.
Oh wow. Okay. Anne has a question. What happens if someone follows an all fruit diet? I was watching Bella's interview yesterday and Freely the banana girl came up. She only eats fruit. The
Yeah.
banana.
if you're metabolically healthy and your body tolerates whatever diet you're on, you have to understand 88, in some studies, from 88 to 93% of the population is metabolically sick. And I'm working on a list of things that are because of hyperinsulinemia and better metabolic dysfunction. The ultimate metabolic dysfunction is diabetes, but it could manifest on you by having PCOS or menstrual difficulties or many other forms. It's not only diabetes. And usually it means you have become intolerant to carbohydrates,
Right.
or as
I
Dr.
think,
Kiltz would say, to plants, right? Because,
yeah, but I'm curious because I think like if you only eat fruit, you're gonna do harm to your body because you're not giving it exactly what it needs. What harm? I don't know.
well, this is the thing. There are limits to the amounts of fructose that your liver is going to be able to handle. Our body doesn't process fructose in many places, just in the liver. And if you're eating excessive amounts of fructose, you have to metabolize it in your liver, and the metabolic pathways are almost identical to the metabolic pathways of alcohol. When you drink alcohol, like everything else stop in the liver says, I gotta handle the alcohol first.
Right.
So all of a sudden, and now understand, there is no process in our body that turns off completely. It's always happening, but it's like if you were using a dimmer for your light and you just lower it to the lowest setting. Okay.
Yeah.
Out the metabolizing my your alcohol takes priority. Well, fructose kind of does the same thing, huge amounts. So even an all fruit diet, if your total calories are, and yeah, calories is a bad word sometimes, but if your total calories are about, you know, about what you need, or less, and depending on whether you're metabolically healthy or not, there are many ways to be metabolically healthy. Uh,
This is funny. Teddy says, so don't be an alcoholic fruitarian unless you don't want your liver.
so the bottom line is, if it's not causing harm, now you have to be careful with the hidden harm, because our blood tests usually will not detect, like if you do your blood sugar, what it's measuring is glucose, it's not fructose.
Mm,
And excessive amounts of glucose, sometimes some of that glucose it's turning to fructose, converting to fructose. By the way, fructose and glucose have a very similar chemical structure. It's just the way the carbohydrate, hydrogen and oxygen atoms are positioned.
interesting.
The
Okay.
fructose and glucose are very similar.
Interesting. So, Luis, in my case, arthritic, how do you say that word?
Psoriatic arthritis.
Psoriatic arthritis. If I want to be healthy, if I add a drop of seed oil or a drop of milk, I will be sick. I take native sea salt. It has a lot of magnesium. Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Good. Uh, Psoriatic arthritis, and he basically, in Spanish we would say arthritis psoriática.
Okay.
So that's where, English and Spanish, the order of words varies a little bit in some
Yeah.
things. Uh, so yeah, I mean, obviously, are there studies that have determined that psoriatic arthritis might be worse on people who eating a lot of plants in general, or the information is lacking, but I hear these things all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, so you've gotten to a point where you realize this stuff is not good for you, stay away from it. Yes.
Stay away from it. Yeah, exactly. Don, does anyone do cleanses? Colon, liver, kidney, parasite, or no?
I am on a
explanation.
carbohydrate cleanse for the past almost 2 years. I
Uh,
avoid carbohydrates, and my body has been cleaning itself up.
there you
It's
go.
best, but even if you have fatty liver, stop eating carbohydrates, and you're on your way. Now, when it's very advanced, it's another story. Once you have enough damage, it is very difficult, but it's still a good thing to do. Eliminate everything that may be causing you harm.
So everyone keeps saying that colon cleanses are not needed. Uh, People are scared of parasites in the United States, and I think that we are loaded full of parasites. So do your research. There's ways to get rid of them. I'm going to say something inflammatory. I've done parasite cleanses with like herbs a couple times. It will make you very sick. Just if you and your doctor notice that you have parasites, um, just do over the counter and get rid of them. You'll feel much better than if you do a freaking parasite cleanse. I was literally sick for a week. It's called the Herxer response for whatever reason. It's like you get the
I
flu.
I only worry about parasites if actually
You,
after doing a test in the stool for parasites, or
yeah,
like malaria is sort of a parasite.
yeah, it is.
So I worry about parasite when they're causing symptoms or we find them.
Yeah,
Then
then you want to get
there are
rid of them.
specific treatments. Use your mebendazole or
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Don't do.
ivermectin or whatever. There's another one I always forget, the parental something over the
But I'm
counter.
just saying that's easier than trying to do like a cleanse with a bunch of herbs over days in alignment with the moon. You will get really sick. Just do the albendazole or whatever.
Now the best cleanse for the liver: stop eating carbohydrate.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Best. And don't do alcohol. There you go.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, someone says you don't you need to open up your lymph pathways first to avoid having those reactions? Probably, maybe. Yeah, get on a trampoline or a plate. What are those? A vibration plate that would probably help. But I don't know. I'm just saying. I've done both options. Okay, in Colombia, they want you to do like get rid of the parasites every 6 months. Like
because
that's
because it's endemic probably in certain
yeah,
areas.
yeah.
Uh, do you have a trampoline, Alia?
I did. We left at our last apartment. It hurts my knees, but vibration plates are awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I love trampolines. I take my kids trampolining. I would if it wouldn't hurt my knees. Maybe if I lost like 50 pounds, maybe it wouldn't have such a bad reaction on my knees. If Coach Lisa was here, she would say, "Don't do the trampoline."
Yeah.
Uh,
Ivermectin, by the way, Brenda's mentioning there with a question mark. Well, that was the primary indication for ivermectin is parasites. And I remember a few years ago when ivermectin came into the vocabulary of most people in the world, although it's a very old medication, they were
yeah,
calling it a horse dewormer. It's used in humans. Come on,
yeah.
uh, now it seems to have other actions that are not only on parasites. Many medications people have found that may have some anti-cancer effects, and ivermectin, mebendazole, these parasites. I'm not claiming that cancer is because of parasites, although I've heard that claim as well. No, it does have some anti-cancer properties, and they've determined the metabolic pathways that were these medications may affect it. A lot of I read a book. I forget the title, but a lot of different medications that have been repurposed because they have some anti-cancer properties, and that includes the big bad wolf of atorvastatin. Does have some anti-cancer properties. Metformin does have some anti-cancer properties. Even loratadine, which is over-the-counter Claritin for allergies, it has some anti-cancer properties. There's a bunch of them. Uh, so
Okay. Lioness Lou, you said something like that. If fatty liver slash metabolic health is really bad, that is a different thing. Please explain more about that. I think that's on the subject of my inflammatory condition. My inflammatory question: can kids eat fruit? I think it's on the subject of fruit and alcohol.
Well, I was mentioning that fructose causes fatty liver, the same
Yeah,
way as alcohol causes fatty liver, and both of them are dose dependent. If you have, you know, a drink once a week is very different than if you're having 12 drinks every day. Okay. You think most people don't drink 12 drinks, but a lot of people have, you know, a dozen beers every day. You know, I've had them, I've seen them, and then we have to talk about what that means. But alcohol and fructose have very similar pathways in the liver, and they can cause damage to the liver. The first stage is basically fatty liver because they're converting, making a lot of fat that's staying right there in the liver, and it's eventually going to cause destroy the liver cells. And the liver is very resilient and regenerates probably better than most uh, organs in our body, but there is a breaking point, right?
yeah. Oh wow, we're already over an hour.
All
Why?
right.
How did
So
that happen?
hashtags. What is the
Yeah.
hashtag?
Hashtag Kiltz for his birthday. Hashtag Kiltz. Put hashtag Kiltz in the chat. You got 1 minute, and then we're gonna do the draw. Wow, that went really fast. Thanks for all of your questions, everybody. Let's see.
If you're a member of the Humanity Live community,
Yeah,
I will be there tonight on the
great.
Q&A. I
I'm
was
gonna
there.
be sleeping. I'm gonna catch up on my sleep.
Yes, Alia just got home like what, 12 hours ago or something like that.
Yeah, not even. I got. Oh yeah. I got home 12 hours ago. And once I just spent some time with my kids, and then we went to sleep. So I'm going back to sleep after this. That's what I said at the beginning of the live stream. Okay, here is the. We are doing the draw. Here we go. Who's winning today? Hopefully it's Dr. Nelson. No. Yay! DS
Yay.
Ride Service Arizona. You need to uh, send me an email, Alia at drkiltz.com, and I will get you your Kiltz book. And I'll
And
put it in
what
the
is she
chat.
getting?
He's getting a Kiltz's keto is carnivore.
There
So
you
you have
go. Congratulations.
congratulations.
Have a great
Yay!
day.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we do have a guest. His name is James, and he is a health coach and an exercise guy, a personal trainer. There you go. That's how much I don't exercise. There you go. We'll see you all soon. See y'all tomorrow. Love you. Goodbye.
Have
Goodbye.
a
End
good
your
day.
stream. Goodbye.